Even the most callous person can change if treated properly. After all, sometimes sincerity, kindness, and selfless care can perform miracles. The hero of this story was not a bad person, he just occasionally got a bit arrogant due to the extra money that came to him too easily. However, an incident that happened to him one day forever changed his attitude towards life and those around him. In 2008, in the Pskov region, local residents witnessed an unusual event. That year, a young Muscovite came to their area. This guest from the capital had recently graduated from university, but thanks to his father's connections, he already held a decent position in a company related to the oil and gas industry. Out of boredom, the young man loved to travel, but not like all his acquaintances to expensive resorts in southern countries. He preferred to explore the countryside. He enjoyed looking at the wild nature and studying the lives of ordinary people. However, he traveled between villages by electric trains rather than in an expensive SUV. This vehicle had a decent amount of horsepower, which required speed on the highway. This ultimately played a cruel trick on the young man. One day, while driving past dense forests, he accelerated too much. The road was already slippery, and suddenly, a horned animal resembling a deer jumped out in front of him. The young man started to steer away from the collision with the animal but ended up crashing into a ditch on the side of the road. The impact caused the driver to lose consciousness. When he came to, he found himself already undressed and in a clean bed. Judging by the surroundings, the young man was not in a hospital but in an old village house. He had scrapes on his hands and back, and his head was bandaged. An elderly man, the owner of the house, entered the room and was very happy that the young man had finally regained consciousness. He began to explain how the young man ended up in his home. It turned out that the young man had been found in the bushes near the wrecked car. Apparently, he had managed to escape from the vehicle and crawled to safety, although he did not remember this. But the most interesting part was not that the young man survived, but rather who saved him. In the forester's house lived a wild beast. The old man had found this predator during a hunt when it was still very small. The cub had looked at the man with pleading eyes as if asking for help. Its mother had been shot by other hunters, and now the animal was doomed to die of hunger, as it had not yet learned to hunt for food on its own. The man took pity on the cub. He brought it to his wife and entrusted her with taking care of the foundling. The beast survived, grew stronger, and after a couple of years, it reached quite impressive sizes. No one could approach the forester's house without an invitation, as it now had reliable protection. Nevertheless, the animal was not aggressive, it only growled at strangers and only when it sensed that a specific person might harm its owner. Therefore, the predator was sometimes let out to roam freely so it could enjoy a walk in the woods. On this occasion, it was wandering along the road in search of some treat when it noticed a lying person. Somehow, the animal managed to drag the young man to the forester's hut, who then provided first aid to the injured man. After listening to the story, the young man gratefully thanked his savior, who had been lying next to the bed all this time. The young man had never before thought that wild bears could be so intelligent that they could show compassion towards humans. It was astonishing, but the bear that the forester had saved from starving to death developed a good attitude not only towards its new owner but also towards other people. How else could one explain that the beast did not abandon the dying man in distress but realized that the wounded person needed to be taken to the forester? The animal simply understood that the old man could help the injured young man, just as he had once helped a little bear cub.